Welcome back, everyone. Today, I'm going to show you how to draw Bluey. So you're going to need your paper, preferably marker paper, but any paper is going to be fine. You're also going to need a few colors. I'm going to be using a mix of markers and pencils, but we're going to be using a light blue for the center parts of her body and her hands and her feet. We're going to have a little more of a turquoise color. That's going to be for her main body. We're going to have a darker blue. That's going to be for her ears and her patches and the end of her tail. And then we're going to also be using sort of a beige color. This is going to be for her snout, and this is going to be for her insides of her ears. So, I hope everyone has their things ready, and let's get started. So typically when drawing characters, you like to see and look to see what general shape that their body has to start off with. And if we look at Bluey, you'll see that her body is basically just an elongated rectangle with rounded corners. So to start with her body, that's what we're going to start with. So let's draw a rectangle. Let's do 2 vertical parallel lines. Doesn't have to be perfect shape right now, just sketch it out. Just remember, she doesn't have hard corners. They're more of a rounded edge. And then also the top of her head is kind of a little rounded at the very top. So just if you have to draw a straight line, that's probably fine as well. But to get it more accurate, just draw a little bit of a curve. Okay. So now that we have her general body shape, what I like to do, I like to divide the body right in half with a very light line. This is going to help us draw our eyes and our mouth and sort of line everything up correctly. So that we have our line drawn, we're going to start with Bluey's eyes. And we're going to draw the right one and the left one. Just try to space them out equally from that middle line there. And within her eye, we're going to draw her pupil. So just same shape. And on the right eye, we're going to draw a little bit to the left. And on the left eye, we're going to draw a little bit to the right. Okay, so we have her eyes. Now we're going to draw her snout. So her snout's going to start roughly in the middle of her right side eye. So we're going to start here, draw a line straight across. Go a little past halfway. And then we're going to come down and move a little bit to the right. And once we're that, we're going to just curve it up for the smile. And make sure you add your little dash mark for the edge of the cheek there. So now we have her snout. We're going to add her nose. And her nose is going to start at the very top with this line here. And it's basically going to be an upside down rectangle. So start with that line. Start with the left side, round the edges, and then come down and just make an upside down triangle. And then she also has a little bit of a highlight at the top of her nose. We're just going to draw sort of a horizontal oval. Now this will be a light color when we color everything. So we have her eyes and her snout. We're going to draw her ears. So her ears are pretty easy. They're basically triangles. We're going to start at the edge of her body. We're going to come up basically halfway between where that center line is and the edge of our body, and roughly about up to this level here. So start at the edge, come up, round that corner, and then come down. You're going to be a little to the left of that center line, right about here. We're going to do the same thing with the right side here. Start at the edge, come up, round the corner, and then come down a little to the right of the center here. To do the inside of the ear, we're going to copy that exact shape, just a little inside. Okay, those are her ears. While we're up at her ears, might as well do her eyebrows. So her eyebrows are going to kind of be bean shaped. So the way I like to do this, I like to start with 2 circles. So the first circle, we're going to draw kind of covering these 2 lines here. And then the next circle, we're going to draw a little bit lower. So to the right and lower. And now to do the eyebrow shape, we're going to connect the two top parts of the circles. And on the bottom, we're going to connect, but we're going to curve up slightly. So you have a little bit of a bean shape. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So draw the circle. Draw the other circle to the left and we'll go lower. And then connect the tops. And then curve up the bottom. So we have our bean. Okay. So moving down her body, we have her stomach. Her stomach has a little bit of a light colored patch right in the middle of it. So how we're going to draw this, we're going to start to the left side of the center of this side of her body. Come up. We're going to draw just basically a square with rounded edges. A little bit more of a curve than just being a straight line. So we're going to curve it over. And then we're going to come back down. Okay. So moving on to her legs. So her legs are going to start equally in the center of both halves of her body. So we're going to take the left side line. We're going to drop that down. Take another one. Drop it equally. And at the bottom of her feet, or her leg, we're going to do sort of an elongated oval shape. We're going to do the same thing on the other side now. Draw a line down, copy it, and then do the oval. So the oval is going to be basically the shape of her foot. So what we're going to do, we're going to start at the side of her leg. We're going to come down, kind of tracing the oval shape. And then we're going to just connect those two bottom pieces here. And then draw her toes. We can copy that sort of shape of the edge here. And I copy the right side. And do the same thing on the other side. So then we have her legs, her body, and we have to draw her arms. So her arms are going to start kind of in the center between her snout and that little patch of her body. So right in the middle here. We're going to start here. We're going to draw a line down and a little bit to the right, stopping a little bit above the low part of her body. So right about here. And then we're going to draw a circle. We're going to draw her fingers. She's going to have 4 circles. So on the right side, you're going to start with 3 close together. 1, 2, 3. And the 4th is going to be a little further over to the left, right about here. And we just connect those. So just going over the top, just connect them. And then when you connect these last 2, it'll sort of be like a little bit of a triangle. So you draw a little point here. And then it goes behind her body. All right. And then we're going to copy that on the left side here. So starting about halfway up between this spot here, come down, go to the right, and then draw the circle. And bring that out a little bit more. Okay. And then we're going to draw our fingers. So same thing we did on the other side. We can draw 4 circles. 3 are going to be on the left, and there's going to be 1 a little more spaced out on the right. 1, 2, 3, and a little more spaced out 4. And then, as usual, just connect those. And then do the little triangle point shape here. Okay. Now on her arms and legs, sort of where her wrists and her ankles are going to be, there's going to be a line separating our medium color blue and our light blue. So just draw straight lines where her wrists would be, straight lines where her ankles would be. Okay. Now she also has spots on her body. So on the left side of her body, she's going to have 2. She's going to have a smaller spot, kind of where the top of the arm is. We're just going to draw a little bit of a half circle right here. And then a little bit below, we're going to draw a little bigger of a half circle. And then on this side, kind of between where those 2 are, we're going to draw another smaller circle. And those will be her darker blue spots on her body. And the other dark areas that she has are around her eyes. So we're going to start a little to the right of the inner ear here. We're going to come down and connect to the eye, just on a little bit of an angle. And then we're going to come out from the bottom right side of her eye, right about here, and we're going to just curve it right to the edge of her body. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side, starting on the inner side of her ear. We're going to come down, connect to the eye. And we can't really see her eye here, so we're going to come out right about the center part of her snout. And we're just going to curve it over and connect it to the left side of her body. All right, and then the last thing we have to do is her tail. So her tail is going to curve out to the right side over here. Let's just start with an oval, sort of connecting to where her pointer finger is. It's going to get the general shape of her tail. And what we're going to do, we're just going to curve off of this circle here, right to about her leg. And then around the edges of her circle, she has little kind of poofy marks. So we're going to do 4 circles, 4 little ovals. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just want to trace over the top, curve around, like little fingers, or and then curve around again. Just following that outline of those circles. And the last one finally here. And then like her legs, she has a mark. It's going to separate the light blue, or the medium blue, and the dark blue. So we're just going to curve down from her finger and connect to the bottom of the tail here. Okay, so we have Bluey's general sketching out for her body. One last thing we might want to do, her snout is going to be an orange color, and it divides the blue. So it is very lightly, starting from the bottom left of her right eye. We're going to come down. We're going to follow the shape of this sort of smile mark here, come around, and then just connect at the bottom. Do that very lightly. So that'll divvy up between the orange and the medium color blue. So now that we have our shape marked out, this is not an essential step, but this is what I like to do. I like to go back over all my lines with sort of a fine point Sharpie, just to permanently make those lines, and then we'll erase our pencil lines just to clean it up. So we're just going to trace every line that we have that we drew. So even though we have a lighter blue and a darker blue, I'm going to take my light blue marker and I'm going to color in all the places where you'll see the medium color blue and the light blue. So we'll have her arms, her main body, her legs, the inside part of her tail, and then her little forehead area here. Okay, now that we have all of her light blue areas colored, we're going to go back in either with a darker blue marker, or if you have a darker pencil, crayon, anything you're using. And we're going to go in and we're going to darken up the parts of her upper arms, her body, and the inside part of her tail here. Okay, that should wrap up for our middle color blue. Now we're going to take our dark blue, our navy blue colored pencil, and we're going to color in now the outside part of her ears, the patches around her eyes, her little spots here, and then the end of her tail. Now that we have our dark blue, the final color we're going to do is we're going to do the orange beige color of her inner ear and her snout. Okay, that does it for our colors. The last step in coloring we're going to do is on her leg, she's going to have a little bit of a shadow right at the very top. So you're just going to take a slightly darker blue than the middle part of her body. And we're going to draw just a straight line across. And just fill in that little top part of her leg there. Just to add in a little bit of a shadow. Now we're going to take our Sharpie or our black colored pencil or any other marker you have, and we're going to take an outline, thicker black line around the very edge of her body. Just going to be a border around everything there. Now, the very last step we're going to do, and this step is optional, we're going to add a little bit of a shadow on the ground where she's standing, just so she's not floating on our paper. So you can either use a normal colored pencil or normal pencil, anything that's gray. We're going to draw a light gray sort of area over her feet, just extending out a little bit just so you can get the shadow from her hands and the rest of her body. And the same thing on the right side, we're going to extend it out just to get the shadow of her tail. Just a light gray, sort of almost an oval shape. And then you're going to take a darker gray or maybe a black pencil, and we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to keep it on the inside of that gray, closer to her body. So right around her feet here, do it nice and light. Just try to blend these two grays together. Okay, almost done. Take our Sharpie again, and we're just going to fill in her eyes, and then we should be done. All right, there we have it. There's Bluey. I hope everyone had fun. If you have any requests for other characters in the future, feel free to leave them in the comments.